My name is Adrian Cole, a 58-year-old retired literature teacher who spent 3 years learning how to breathe again after losing my wife, Marina. She was gentle, brilliant, and too good for the world that took her early. My daughter, Lena, married a charming young accountant named Ethan Hale. He was respectful, composed, and everything a father would want for his daughter. Or so I believed. One quiet winter evening, Ethan forgot his phone on the kitchen counter before leaving to buy groceries. Lena was with her friend, and I was alone in the house. The silence felt heavy, but peaceful. Until a sound cut through it. His phone rang. The screen lit up in the dark kitchen, and my soul nearly left my body. Because on that glowing screen appeared a photo I knew better than my own heartbeat: Marina. My wife. Gone for 3 years. And beneath her picture, the name, Love, Marina. For a moment I couldn't move. Grief, horror, confusion, everything crashed at once. I picked up the phone with shaking hands. The call stopped. A message popped up. A notification preview from the same name: I miss you. Come tonight. My body went cold. Was someone using her name? Her photos? Was Ethan involved? My mind tried to find a rational answer. But grief doesn't do logic. It does fear. When Ethan returned, I confronted nothing. I simply placed the phone back where I found it and pretended I never saw anything. Because I needed proof, not accusations. And that night, for the first time since Marina died, I felt her death waking up again. Sharp and alive. Like a wound that never healed. I couldn't sleep. And somewhere in that long, terrifying night, a truth settled into my bones. If my wife's ghost wasn't calling, someone wanted me to believe she was. And I would find out who. Even if it destroyed everything. The next morning, I pretended everything was normal. But my eyes were awake in a way they hadn't been in years. I watched Ethan carefully. The way he checked his phone the moment he stepped into the kitchen. The flicker of panic in his eyes when he noticed a missed call. The relief that washed over him when he realized no one had touched it. He thought he was careful. He thought I was old, silent, harmless. But grief teaches patience better than wisdom ever could. Over breakfast, he laughed. He spoke politely. He made small jokes about work. Yet his fingers never left the phone, as if it contained his life. Or someone else's death. That evening, when Lena left to visit her mother-in-law, Ethan claimed he was going to the office to finish paperwork. I waited until his car disappeared down the street, then quietly followed in my own. I wasn't proud of what I was doing, but there are moments when a man realizes that truth demands a price. Even if dignity is the first thing he must give up. He drove 20 minutes into the older part of town, the streets narrow and dimly lit. He parked outside a small apartment building with cracked walls and rusted balconies. He didn't knock. He had a key. I waited in the car, my heart pounding like a trapped animal. After 15 minutes, the light in an upstairs window flicked on. I could see his silhouette moving, pacing, gesturing angrily. And then I saw it. Another shadow entered the room. A woman. She handed him a phone. His phone. And together they stared at something on the screen. A chill crawled up my spine. Why did this woman have his phone? And what were they looking at so seriously? They didn't kiss. They didn't touch. This wasn't an affair of the heart. It was something colder, darker, and far more dangerous. I stayed until the lights went off, then drove home with my stomach twisted in knots. But the real blow came 3 nights later. Lena hosted a family dinner. Laughter filled the house, wine glasses clinked, and for a moment it felt like life had returned to its old warmth. But warmth is a fragile thing. It can be destroyed in a single heartbeat. Halfway through dinner, Ethan's phone rang. It was on the table, face up. The screen lit bright, and there she was again. Marina. Her photo. Her smile. Her name. This time, loud enough for everyone to hear. Lena froze. Her fork slipped from her hand. Her mother-in-law stared with confusion, and I felt the room twist around me. Ethan grabbed the phone so fast it nearly flew from the table. His voice shook as he lied, saying it was a friend, playing a stupid joke. But his voice wasn't important. What mattered was the look Lena gave me. A look that said she knew something was deeply, terribly wrong. That night, she came to my room. Dad, who is calling him with Mom's picture? I swallowed the truth like fire. I don't know. But I'm going to find out. And Lena, with tears in her eyes, whispered the words that changed everything. Dead. I don't think Ethan was ever who he pretended to be. From that moment on, it wasn't just about a phone call. It was about the ghosts living in our house. And not all of them were dead. Lena couldn't sleep that night, and neither could I. The house felt like it was breathing with secrets. Every ticking second was a reminder that someone had turned Marina's memory into a weapon. By morning I had made up my mind. If Ethan could sneak around, then so could I. While he showered, I picked up his phone, not to open it, just to check. The wallpaper was a family picture, him, Lena, and my grandson, but the call log held only blank space, wiped clean. Nobody deletes call history unless they have something to hide. When Ethan stepped out, I placed the phone back exactly where it was. The truth needed precision, not panic. Later that day, I visited the old building Ethan had gone to. I waited near the entrance until someone came out and held the door open long enough for me to slip inside. The hallway smelled of dust and damp walls, and every step felt like walking deeper into a past I didn't understand. Apartment 203. The door Ethan had used. I knocked gently. A moment later, the woman I saw earlier opened the door. She was in her 30s, pale, thin, with sharp eyes that flickered to life when she saw a stranger. I introduced myself as a private courier with a package for Ethan. She hesitated, just enough for fear to show. "He's not here," she said too quickly. Then she attempted to shut the door, but I placed my foot forward, just enough to hold it. "I know he isn't," I said quietly. "I also know he keeps his phone here." Her entire face changed. She didn't slam the door, nor did she threaten me. She simply went still, like prey caught in bright light. "Who are you?" she whispered. "His father-in-law," I answered. She looked away, eyes filling with something like guilt or regret. "I didn't want to be part of this," she murmured. "But he said it was harmless." I didn't speak, and silence pressed her to continue. "He gave me a phone. He told me to call him from it sometimes, using a special contact. Said it was part of a game to scare someone. I didn't know whose photo it was. I swear I didn't." I asked to see the phone. She walked back inside and returned with a cheap old smartphone. My heart nearly stopped. The wallpaper, the contact list, the text messages, all carried Marina's name and picture. Every detail crafted to look like she was alive and still reaching out. My hands trembled, not with fear, but with rage. "This isn't a joke," I told her. "This is cruelty." She nodded, tears forming. "He paid me to use a number he bought under your wife's name. He said you were paranoid and he wanted to teach you a lesson. A lesson." That was the moment something shattered in me. My grief, my silence, my patience, cracked like glass under a hammer. Before leaving, I asked her one last question. "Why is he doing this?" She wiped her eyes. "He said you ruined his life, that everything he wanted was stolen because of your wife." I walked out of that building feeling like a ghost myself. Every step was heavy, every breath scraping like broken glass inside my chest. When I reached home, Ethan was already there, smiling, serving dessert as if the world were perfect. Lena kissed his cheek, he kissed hers back, and all I saw was a serpent wearing my son-in-law's skin. But revenge isn't fire, it's ice. Cold, patient, silent. That night, I sat in my study and opened Marina's old laptop. I began digging, not into Ethan's phone, but his entire life. His bank accounts, his work emails, property records, hidden debts, insurance policies. Hours passed, midnight arrived. And then I found it. A life insurance policy taken out in my daughter's name, signed by Ethan, her signature forged, and the beneficiary was him. My hands stopped shaking, my rage stopped screaming. Everything inside me fell eerily calm. Ethan didn't just want to scare me, he wanted control, he wanted money, he wanted a future without us. But I wasn't done discovering the truth, because the biggest black hole in his life was his past, and when I opened that door Nally understood. My wife wasn't the only ghost in this story. The next morning, the world looked exactly the same, yet everything in me had changed. The air felt heavier, the light colder. I watched Ethan sit at the table, feeding my grandson little pieces of fruit with the same gentle smile that fooled us for years. Monsters don't always have fangs. Some have dimples. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Revenge is never loud in the beginning, only in the end. I needed proof, solid, undeniable, legal proof, so I went to the only place where truth never sleeps, the police department. I met Detective Rowan, a quiet man with tired eyes and a mind that missed nothing. When I showed him the insurance document with Lena's forged signature, his eyebrows tightened. "This alone is serious," he said. "But you're telling me he's been impersonating your deceased wife using fake numbers and photos? We need everything. Call records, bank transfers, any detail." So for 3 days, I lived 2 lives. By day, I was Adrian, the calm father, the harmless old man. By night, I dug deeper into Ethan's history, false investments, secret accounts, a business he registered under my wife's name after her death. That was the last nail in his coffin. The police obtained a warrant and took over. I was told not to interfere. But justice without witness is not justice, it's paperwork. I needed to see his mask fall. So I staged the final act. On the 4th day, Lena invited everyone for brunch, her friends, her in-laws, neighbors. The house was full, warm, loud. Ethan loved attention, he basked in it. When everyone sat, I stood and tapped my glass gently. "I'd like to show a small video," I announced. "A memory of Marina." Ethan's shoulders stiffened. His fork froze midway. The TV screen lit up. But instead of Marina's photos, a different video played, a hidden police camera recording from the woman's apartment. Ethan entering, Ethan handing her a phone, Ethan instructing her to call him using Marina's name. His voice was clear as crystal. "Don't worry, he's old and grieving. He'll think it's his dead wife trying to talk to him. Just send a message or two. I'll pay you every week." Gasps exploded around the room. Chairs shook. Someone whispered, "My God." Lena stared at the screen like her soul was leaving her body. Ethan jumped up shouting, "This is fake! Someone set me up!" But he didn't get far. 2 police officers stepped forward from the hallway. They had been waiting. Detective Rowan spoke calmly, almost gently, as if arresting a wounded animal. "Ethan Hale, you are under arrest for identity theft, insurance fraud, coercion, and psychological harassment." Ethan panicked, tried to escape, only to be pinned against the floor, his face twisted, not with fear, but with hatred. As they handcuffed him, he looked at me and spat the truth he never wanted anyone to hear. "She was supposed to marry me! Marina chose you and ruined everything. I deserved her life, I deserved her family, I deserved her money. You took it all!" The room fell silent. Lena's knees buckled. The officers dragged him away as he screamed curses I won't repeat. And just like that, the man who pretended to love my daughter was gone. Exposed, stripped, undone. He was not a husband. He was a thief wearing kindness like a mask. When the door closed, Lena collapsed into my arms and cried like a child again, the way she did the night Marina died. Only this time, the tears weren't for loss. They were for survival. Weeks passed. Ethan didn't get bail. The forged documents, fake phone numbers, messages, financial trail, everything crushed him in court. The judge denied every plea. Lena filed for divorce and the law protected her. But justice didn't end in a courtroom. 1 month later, I visited Marina's grave. I brought no flowers, only truth. "I protected what you left behind," I whispered. "No one will ever use your name again. Not for love, not for fear, not for greed." For the first time in 3 years, I felt peace. Not the fragile kind, but the kind that roots itself deep and quiet. The kind that means the dead can finally rest. As I turned to leave, a breeze brushed my shoulder. Warm, soft, familiar. Maybe it was only wind, maybe it was something more. But I smiled, because justice doesn't always sound like applause. Sometimes it sounds like silence. And silence finally belonged to us.